Celia Pacquola.
Yes.
Is that right? Is that?
Yes, very good.
Thanks very much. I've been practicing.
Have you? It's very sweet. There's a queue in there, I know. It's very...
Yes, yeah. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Doing good. And you've just arrived recently.
Yes, I have.
Now, is it your first time in Bristol?
Yeah. It's really nice. It's really nice here. So we should sort of point out, if it comes off a bit, my mind's still, we've just turned up in a hotel places where there's a lot of groups of stags.
Yeah, I know.
And then random sports teams, and it's a bit peculiar, and now my mind is playing the odds of whether or not they're going to come to the gig time. But coming through Bristol is beautiful.
Yeah. No, I think it's a lovely city.
Hey.
Well, the problem...
Don't want us Australians finding out and coming in and sneaking out, infiltrating our way in and...
Well, it's a little bit out of the way. I think that's the thing. It's not a very popular tourist destination.
Right. What's it known for? What's its thing?
What is it known for? Slavery, mainly, yeah.
Well, you kept that under wraps as well, so good job.
But not so much anymore. It's that was our past.
Good.
We don't talk about it so much. But I think the comedy scene is good, so you shouldn't have problems.
Cool.
And the Colston Hall, they're classy there. Yeah. You see, they they have concerts and things there. Yep. So yeah, like you say, like a theatre. So
yeah, I just saw it from the outside, and it did look quite nice and quite fancy, like a theatre. Because that's the thing with particularly because I'm not from the country. I'm often sent to places that I have not a clue about at all. I just literally will turn up and go, oh, it's a biker bar, which has happened. Could have told me, could have let me know, or it's a basement, or it feels like, some places feel like a living room of like a weird place.
I mean, hopefully it doesn't happen, but if it does happen that it's full of stags, would you be able to cope with that, do you think? Would you be able...
Well, we'll find out.
But I mean, is that a fear for you, that you'll turn up to a place and they're all drunk and they're all...
Yeah, I mean, it's probably not a great thing to say, but I am inherently scared of people. Do you know? But often, it always surprises you. The people that you think that you're going to be the most scared of are all right. You know, you never know. Once you sort of have an expectation of people, they'll prove you wrong just to be annoying. Like, I did a gig once where there was like 2 groups of stags, and I was like, it was full Saturday night, and I was like, oh god, they're gonna give me grief, whatever. And then I ended up getting heckled by just some lone drunk old man who walked out, and then one of the guys from the stag do went, "Don't listen to him, darling, we're really enjoying it." And I was like, what? You're not supposed to so they actually stuck up for me and were
messes with your mind a bit.
So I don't know, I have done other ones where I've spent the best part of 5 minutes really trying hard to convince them that I am not in fact the stripper. And no, it's not. No, I'm not. No, I know. I'm upset as well. Yeah, so I never know.
No, it's strange. I don't know if comedy ever really works with a stag do, which is why I don't know why it's such a thing that stag parties will come to comedy clubs.
No, I don't know either.
I don't think anyone ends up happy with that situation.
Do karaoke. I think there are some comics who are great at that, you know, but I think they want their mate to get a bit of shit in my mouth. I think that's what it is. Like, oh, we'll go and he'll get, you know, picked on and blah. And there's some comics who are great at that. Personally, I'd go, what are you doing? You just want to get hammered and talk to each other and be disruptive. Just go somewhere. I've heard that hens do's are worse. I haven't actually played any hens do's. I've had a lot of stags, but not hens.
You could imagine that. Yeah.
Apparently, just a lot of screaming. Just a lot of.
Which is hard to.
And it's harder to.
But you kind of want laughter. That's sort of They tend to be more about the screaming.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, people can do whatever they want to do, but you never know till you walk out and go, oh. Great.
But I mean, I suppose you know the London circuit a bit more, do you? So you know what you're getting into, at least when you go to one of those gigs.
Yeah.
You know if it's going to be about. I mean, have you done the Comedy Store and things?
No, I haven't. I haven't chased it, which is my own fault. I just sort of, whatever sort of comes to me, I'll do. Do you know? I haven't anything that I need to really chase. I generally find I'm not ready to do it. I feel like there'll be a time when that happens. If that happens, organically and naturally someone sees me and says something to them, and then I'll end up doing it. But for the time being, is if I've got enough gigs and I'm surviving on enough gigs, then I'm not chasing things like that. Anyway, so I haven't done that, and I haven't done any of the jonglers or highlights, but that's because I don't want to. I'm sure there's merits to doing it, and people go, you should do rooms like that to toughen up and all that kind of stuff, but
I think it's more the trend now. Yeah. No, I think it's more the trend that people just buy. I think people used to have to do jonglers, maybe, because it was the only thing that there was. A bit more so. But now there's so much else you can be doing. And if you're doing Edinburgh Fringe shows, you're used to an audience and building a narrative and doing something more complex. You don't need to be able to deal with a stag do.
I mean, I think you do. I just don't really enjoy. Yeah, I don't. I'm doing it more. I'm trying to do it more. Do more club rooms just to go through it. And if I die on my ass a couple of times, then that's a story. So I play most rooms. And as I say, being from here, not from here, it's such a potluck. Turn up at a gig and have no clue.
Yeah. So when did you?
Well, I've been here for 2 years, but I go back to Australia quite often. I've been back like 5 times for about a month at a time. So I've been mainly here for 2 years, but like I was back for Melbourne Festival just recently, so I was gone for 2.5 months.
So comedy started in Australia.
Yeah.
And then you moved. So was it the scene over here that made you move, or?
Yeah, there's a few things. There's just more here. I got to a point in. I'm from Melbourne, which is great, but it's just so small. It's so much smaller. There's not enough rooms. There's not enough people, and I felt I wasn't getting any better because you go to rooms and it's a lot of the same audience. So there's a pressure to do new stuff, so you don't really work up your old stuff, and it's quicker to develop a profile, so there's a bit of an expectation and that kind of thing. And I came to do Edinburgh for the second time 2010, and I just stuck around. You have to be under 30 to get the 2-year visa thing, and I was 27 turning 28, so I went, well, let's give it a shot. And when I came here, I thought maybe I'll be here for a month. I went, I'll give it a try. If I hate it, I'll go home. If I run out of money, I'll go home. And it's been 2 years and
still here,
just sort of hanging around. Yeah.
Well, it's strange with Melbourne, because there's a Melbourne Comedy Festival. Yeah. You kind of almost think, in my eyes, well, it's Comedy Central. They must just be having comedy gigs all the time, but just not very much at all. Or a few gigs.
There's a few gigs, but there's just not enough. The festival's a big deal.
Yeah.
But outside of that, there's not that much. There's only maybe 2 clubs that run. Maybe even only 1 that runs every night of the week. And other than that, there's maybe 10 clubs that are out of town. Like, it's harder. You'd have to drive. You could do it if you sort of went around from state to state, but it's just harder to make a living just from straight stand-up, which is why a lot of people do solo shows really early in their career. I did. Probably too soon, because the festival's the only time when everyone's there and it's a big deal. It's a place to get noticed. So I found that really interesting coming here, because in Australia I did an hour before I had a Club 20.
Right.
Easily. And then you come here and people will geek for 7 years before they do their first show, which is probably smarter, but that's just how you just got to...
But do you think that's helped a bit, in a way, in that you're used to being on stage for a longer time, which means when it comes to Edinburgh you're a bit more used to it, maybe? Or
it was just I didn't have the comic skills, because it's almost like a theatre show, doing your first sort of hour. When people have come to see you, it's not a club environment, it's not even a gig environment. People have come to see you and your show, and you talk to them. So when I got to Edinburgh, I'd never been heckled before, ever. I'd never, I didn't even use a microphone in my show. It was it was really gentle, little, and then just got my ass kicked up and down those cobbly streets.
So that first year wasn't
good?
It
was great.
It was great.
This is the thing. It was amazing and terrible and wonderful and the worst thing I've ever done. It was a real baptism. I can speak English, of fire. Just learnt a lot really fast, because you're doing it all the time, but real highs and lows. So the second year was a lot was a lot more enjoyable for
because
me just
you
to
knew
be
what
a
you're
bit-
expecting.
Yeah,
and
it to be horrible. I was going right. I know what this is. Let's go. Come on.
So you've never been to Edinburgh before? You performed there? Oh, okay, right.
No.
So it was. I think some people are really surprised at that Edinburgh is something completely different to what they thought it was, just because everyone is there, but it is so small. So you're bumping into people all the time. But then it's so big because there are so many shows going on. It's crazy.
That's the way it feels like different, and I can't remember who described it to me like this, but Edinburgh feels like a big festival in a small city, whereas Melbourne feels like a small festival in a big city. Like, you know how in Edinburgh everyone knows the festival is on?
Oh, yeah.
Whereas in Melbourne there's a hub of a comedy festival, but if you walk 2 blocks from there and you fly someone, they'll go, oh, is there a comedy festival on?
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it's a bit localised in this
But
little
it's
area.
like location-wise, there's a
There's a hub, there's the town hall, and then there's the festival club, and then sort of main venues around that. But when I say main venue, you know, they're like a pub building with 3 rooms in it, you know. But yeah, everyone tried to tell me what Edinburgh was going to be like, and as have I attempted to explain it to other people who are going for the first time. But you just gotta go.
Just got to do it.
Just gotta go. And just ridiculous things like you can get a really great review, and then the next day have 2 people coming in and you just go, what? Like, it sometimes just feels like, what can you do? And then just,
But you're bitten by the bug now. Do you think you're kind of
for Edinburgh
Yeah.
or comedy in
Yeah.
general? Well, I missed it last year, and that was fine. Really, I was in Australia doing something else, and it was kind of nice to know that it's not the whole world. Like, I dipped in and out and sort of saw what was going on, and was like, oh, fine, but I wasn't like, oh, God, I'm not there. It's the worst thing ever. So I'm not desperate for it in that way. I'm glad to be going back again, because I think it's just good to not take too many years off, you know, to try and, because people will forget you as well and go, you know, hey guys, da-da-da. And you know, I've just got all this money that I just hate it. I just want to get rid of it. And I just thought, how am I going to do that in a really
stupid,
dramatic sort of way? So that
and on as many things as you get, flyers, and it'll go straight in the bin.
Oh, I've got so many left over from Melbourne.
Do you go out and fly yourself? Or do you
I do a bit, but I will hire people. I'm terrible at it, and it's really... Do you know what I don't like? When you've got to convince... Like, sometimes you get people fly and you go, oh, you know, come to show, blah, 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 and they go, you better be funny. And then if they come, it's really... I don't like having that pressure. If they don't enjoy your comedy for whatever reason, knowing that you made them come, I just feel more guilt. Going, I'm sorry that I didn't know that this isn't for you. And I just think I prefer having another layer, another person going, hey, go to the show. So I didn't do it.
I mean, I've never done it, but it just feels like I just couldn't.
I've taken flyers back off people and gone, don't come.
Right, really?
Well, there's a group of dudes who were like that, who were very, oh, you better be funny. And I was like, listen, guys,
it's not for you.
It's really not. It's really not for you. The only one thing that I found that was clever, well, not clever, but that worked, and I didn't make me feel sick doing, and I only did it twice, was I had reviews had just gone up on my poster, and it had like my poster was there and had stars on it and stuff. So I just sort of hung around there, and then someone came past and went, can you take a photo of me with my poster? So I've got to send it to my mum in Australia. Oh, by the way, this is my show. And you know what I mean? And chatting to them that way. But then I felt like too much of lying about my mum didn't make me feel good, so I stopped doing that.
Well, it's also quite a lot of time investment on one person as well.
Yeah.
And
they know that you're trying to... I mean, what's great is in Edinburgh is that flyering actually works. Like, you can talk someone into seeing a show, and that's so cool.
Because people are around, they kind of...
They go,
want to see a
I
show.
want to see something. Yeah. They're not like, you know, when there's people in the streets trying to save the tiger or whatever. You know, which is just slapping the face. But at least in Edinburgh, they're a little bit more... If you're in Edinburgh, you're going to get flyed.
Yeah.
So they just accept it and go, okay.
Exactly,
All
right. You go there knowing that it's going to happen. Yeah.
And if you don't want to get flyed, you have to walk around carrying a stack of flyers.
Flyers yourself.
That's the only way.
Well, I think there's also a thing about where you flyer as well. Like, you see people trying to do it at the Royal Mile, and it's just, I think it's the wrong place. Just because I have respect for people who do it kind of near their venue. They're thinking about, if they're at the stand, maybe they'll go down the stand. They'll clock up shows that they think other people will enjoy. But if you're just standing on the Royal Mile, sort of waving, I just cringe. I can't watch it. Or student comedy that's there.
Gosh, that's making me feel ill listening. But no, that's fine. And like, you hope that going back as well, you're starting to get people coming to your show who know a little bit about you. Whereas like the first year, which is why I got my ass kicked up and down, was because you just had to get, no one knew who I was. Also, we just dragged anyone giving away tickets, anyone. So you got a lot of people who it was not their thing at all.
I think that's a point. Your first time, you're building up your audience, aren't you?
So you go through a lot of people who aren't.
A lot of trial and error. But now you're finding that you're...
Well, I hope so. Even going back the second year, had people who'd come see the first show, so, or just sort of know your name a little bit more, or, being here as well, trying to build up a bit of a profile here. Hopefully that'll bring people who are into it.
I think it was a thing I've heard from a few people that actually it's a slow process to get an audience that you like. In a way, you want people you like to be watching your comedy, and not watching it for the wrong reasons, I guess. Well, it depends on your material somewhat. I think people who swear a lot, people will come for the swearing.
Oh yeah. Come for the swearing and stay for the jokes. That's what I do. I see your point. Yeah, I mean, everyone's got different tastes, which is what's so great about it, and something to console yourself with. If it doesn't go well, you just go, well, I'm not for them. I'm not going to be for everyone. And I have things that I enjoy more than others, and it's the best way to be.
So what were you doing? Because you didn't go last time. So what was your project that you were?
I was doing a television show in Australia, which sounds very exciting. Well, it was very exciting.
Yeah.
Was that when I was doing the second series? Yeah, got 2 series. So it was a sitcom about a girl who everyone she has sex with starts dying in order that she's had sex with them. And why? That's really the show.
I see.
And that's not me. I'm the sassy best friend, which is the best. It was my dream role. So she has to have all emotional journey, and I'm like, sassy one-liner, stuff about balls and things. It's quite sexual. So I was filming that, which was great fun. It's really fun having because when you do stand-up, it's so many individual gigs. It was fun working on one thing for like 6 weeks.
You've got a
getting
big
up
project.
every day and you go there, and everyone knows that's what you're doing. If you're not at a birthday or whatever, I'm doing this thing, and everyone goes, cool, you're doing a thing. It's great.
And it's a collaboration as well. Is you enjoy working with everyone?
Oh, I love it. I love it. I get such sketch envy when I see people perform sketch. I go, oh, geez, it'd be nice just to talk to someone beforehand and go, what do you want to do? I don't know. What do you want to do? We'll do. Having someone to decide with and
bounce off and
it's
just
be
you.
on the megabus with you. When it's just you, it's if everyone in the audience knows that you thought this was funny. If there's even if there's 2 of you, they don't know whose idea it was.
Exactly. The lines are blurred.
But when it's just you and it's no script, then it's...
So have you ever done sketch stuff, or are you...
I have a little bit in Australia. We did a show called the Anarchist Guild Social Committee, which was really great fun. It was a bunch of stand-up comics who did a live sketch show once a month, new material, so a brand new show every month, which is just an excuse to hang out and write ridiculous things and get to be on stage with a bunch of comics who were all lonely and wanted to hang out with each other, So that was really fun, and then little bits from after uni and that kind of thing, but I'm not great at characters.
Right, that's the thing.
You've got to be able to be great at characters.
So this character that you play in the sketch show, not a sketch show,
in the TV show, it's pretty much me.
It's you.
It's pretty much me.
That's great.
But bigger balls. Like she's dirtier. Okay. She's dirtier, less giggly than me. No bullshit. Kind of. But otherwise, it's pretty much me.
Well, I suppose it's being
even to the point of the man who plays my boyfriend in the show is my real boyfriend.
Oh, really?
Who was before we got cast. We were going out and we got cast randomly. As boyfriend and girlfriend. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, I was cast, and then he was on his like second callback, and we went, we should probably tell them now, in case they have a problem with it or whatever.
Right.
But they didn't, so it was fine. So basically what I'm saying is they just made the character like as close to my real life as absolutely possible.
It's a bit spooky almost, that you think... Well, comforting as well.
Well, yeah, I know. It'd be awful to be like, oh, these two. I don't believe it. There's no chemistry.
Just can't see it.
No, I can't see it.
But then I suppose being a stand-up, you're used to kind of... I assume that on stage you are an exaggerated version of you. So actually just making yourself bigger and it's probably...
Well, no, but smaller. For the TV, it's got to be a lot smaller. Many times the director would come over and go, Celia, less eyebrows. Because I'm like... What? He's like, your microphone's right there, because you're used to going, wow, no.
You grow up.
Okay, cool. Just put your hands together, just.
So that was a bit of a challenge, was it?
Yeah, it was. But the second series was easier. Sort of had a bit
get
of
used to it, get into the swing of it. Something you want to do more of?
I'd love to, yeah. I mean, but this is the thing, I'm not convinced I could play another character.
Well, I suppose, I mean, are you a stand-up purist in that that's going to be your focus always? Or
No,
No,
and I've never have been. I like to do a little bit. The dream is doing a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
I do a lot of writing. I do comedy writing, so I've done some bits of radio, bit of sketch, bit of acting, bit of whatever, bit of directing, bit of theatre, bit of. I like stand-up, but I like it more when I'm doing other things as well. Right,
as part of the mix of everything that you're doing at that point. Yeah. So it's not... I think because some people, they just need the stand-up situation to keep going. That's the thing they cling on to. My ultimate scenario, which has happened for periods, is I'm working on something comedy, like writing for a project during the day, and then gigging for fun at night, like gigging nearby. Like, I'm not a huge fan of touring. I don't want to be a touring comic constantly
by myself
travelling.
And go around and do hour shows in places. I like doing hour shows. I like doing festival shows because it nails down an hour of material for me. It takes the pressure off everything if I'm doing a little bit of everything. If I'm just doing stand-up, it just stresses me out. Yeah, when it's so fickle and you can have a good gig, then a great gig, then a da-da-da. I like having something else.
That's true. I suppose the lack of continuity for some people just must be crushing. Just because as soon as you think, oh, an audience likes me, then the next gig, you just, what was that?
What do you... Listen, call the people who were here last night, because they had a great time. And I just think it helps everything. Like, if I'm writing on something else for someone else, my writing helps your writing. It just sort of keeps your brain working. And if for some reason, because stand-up, you can feel quite exposed, sometimes if you get... I'd like to know that I could withdraw from that and still be doing something in comedy, i.e. writing for someone else and that sort of...
So what have you written? What are your...
A bunch of stuff. Like, I used to write for a show called Good News Week in Australia, which is like Mock the Week. So I've done news gags, just topical gags, and then I worked out of BBC Radio for a little while, just being hired gun for whatever projects needs going on, and I'm working on just sort of scripts and things.
Right, bits and bobs.
Yeah.
Think
about what else I would write for. Yeah, just stuff, and I really enjoyed working on the TV show. They brought me in for workshops and did a bit of additional material for that kind of thing. But bits and pieces.
Right, okay. And then is it sort of quite a lot? Is it mainly Australia writing stuff, or is it?
Well, I'm starting to do more here, but I'm back. Back and full of.
I suppose it's sort of maybe being in limbo a little bit.
Yeah, I feel like I'm spending my whole life writing emails to people going, I'm actually not in the country anymore, but I will be. Get emails from people going, do you want to come for a coffee? I'm like, no, I'm not here. I'm not in Melbourne anymore, or I'm not in London anymore. I'm in Melbourne. Yeah. So I'd like to have a bit more stability in one place.
Yeah.
Pretty soon.
I suppose it's just trying to find the focus, isn't it, and where you want to be.
Yeah. But I'll be here till the end of the year, at least, and then I've got to make some serious decisions. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I mean, you've enjoyed your time in London. It's sort of.
Oh, it's great. I mean, there's just so much comedy. You can gig all the time. It's incredible. The fact, like, it's a huge deal to me that you can gig every night of the week, twice if you want, to people, to different people every time. And comedy is really valued here. It's on, it's so much comedy on TV and radio. Like, everyone, it always seems like there's someone sending out a thing going, we want ideas or we want stuff. They just want content. They want acts. They want.
There's a constant need for
it's wonderful.
stuff.
Yeah, and it's a real, it's great. It's a tradition of going to comedy, and it's wonderful. And I spend every night in a pub, which is a real stereotype as an Australian, that I like that, but it's good, particularly now that it's light again.
Yes.
I don't know that I could do another winter. It killed me. The
Really?
dark, not the cold, the dark. Dragging yourself out of the house at 4 o'clock when it was dark.
So the difference is huge, is it, compared to Australia? Yeah. No,
because you're doing nights as well, so every time I woke up I'd have to go outside straight away, otherwise I wouldn't see any light. But even if it was light, it's that low sort of thing. But this is wonderful, not getting dark till 9. You want to go out, you go, yeah, let's go out, and everyone's like, yeah, good mood.
Whereas if it's like 6 o'clock and it's depressing.
I just can't. But even before, when it was like 4:30 and it was dark, and there'd be people, because it's still business out, there'd be people like posting letters and stuff. And I just wanted to run up to them and go, what are you doing? It's the end of the world. It's Armageddon. Don't worry about your mat. Like, it was ridiculous to me. I even bought one of those stupid, like, daylight recreated lamps and just hold it for my face. Go, I don't know if it worked at all. So I'm happy. I like this time of the year. So maybe if I could work it out to do half the year or something like that. But
that's
I don't know.
Idea. Yeah, no, it is difficult. I think a lot of people have, the seasonal the depression thing. It's really quite common here, I think. Just because it's so polar opposites.
Don't you find it weird? Like, sometimes I'll go out or have a day and be like, I feel great today. Why am I in such a good mood? I go, oh, I saw the sky. Like, just seeing the sky makes you go, oh, God.
The fact that it is sunny will just make such a difference.
Yeah. But it's worth it for the
culture.
For the ha-has. Yeah. It's good. And just getting to see so much.
Yeah. I think it's got its perks. I mean, we do complain about it, but
yeah, that's funny when I meet people and they're like, "You're from Australia? What are you doing here?"
Well, no, that is a point actually. I mean, is it difficult to get? I mean, because if you want to live in Australia, it's hard. You need to have family there or a good excuse.
I'm just coming off the back of. It's very easy for us to come here if you're under 30 for 2 years. You just get that visa.
Right, yeah.
And I'm just coming off the back of that now, so I'm sort of working on a different thing, a creative. There's avenues you can look into when you do comedy, but for going to Australia, I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's...
you're just going to have to pick one up. I'm taken. I know you, Vero. That's the other issue for me as well, so I do have a boyfriend.
Yes,
very
and
patient.
Where is he?
He's in Melbourne.
He is oh dear,
extremely patient. He was very supportive about me leaving. Probably a little bit too supportive.
For your liking.
Honest. Like, yeah, go. I'm fine. Get out of here.
But yeah, that's not necessarily sustainable.
Well, that's why I've got to make some decisions. We're doing all right. It sounds like I'm lying, but we're doing okay. But there's what I'm saying is there's many of us here, so you just have to meet an Australian here. And then get hooked up, and then you can go free as you like, back and forth.
That would be great. Yeah, that's the way to do it.
Yeah, but a lot of Australians have family here as well. There's something like, I think if your grandparent is from England, you can get a ancestry visa.
Right. No. I see. Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm sure there's more qualified people to visa.
So have you got any more projects coming up? Because, I mean, you're back at Edinburgh this year, but have you got anything else that you're kind of working on at the moment, or sort of hopes, desires?
Yeah, a few things. Yeah, Edinburgh's the big one, but just doing a lot more gigs between now and then. As I say, I'm doing more sort of club stuff, and any and everything I'm doing. Mm-hmm. I shouldn't say that, but I'm just trying to do anything, You never know what's going to come out of doing something. And then a few sort of writing projects, which I don't want to jinx, but just I'd like to write a sitcom eventually.
Yeah.
I'd really
Well,
like
that
to
is the
write
problem. If you kind of outlay your big plan, and then it all goes, you don't want to do that.
Yeah. No. So it's I don't want to speak too soon, but I'm pretty sure it's going to get an Oscar.
I'm pretty sure it's going to be a pretty big deal.
It's going to be a pretty big deal. No, just putting out spot fires. You know what I mean? You get little projects come up, and you go work on that. Or but yeah, Edinburgh's the big one. Previews start soon, so I'm doing a bunch of out of town previews.
And is there a lot of changes that happen at that point?
From Melbourne?
With the preview, it's sort of you've got a show, and then by the end of that, you've got something totally different.
Yeah.
That's it.
Absolutely, for me, yes. And particularly because this show, I've done it in Melbourne. I did 2 shows here. I did it at Leicester here, and then I took it to Melbourne. Had to change the whole thing, pretty much. And now I've got to change it back again, but better. So that's why I need to do previews here. And I find that's the only way to work on a show, for me, is to actually do it. Even if it's in front of 20 people, just to say it out loud to people, because you feel the bits that don't fit right, or the bits where, if in your mind you're going, ugh, this bit, then cut that bit. Just cut that bit.
You've got to lose it.
Yeah. But they like it. I don't care. It makes me feel ill to do it. Just cut it.
But with some bits, isn't it... Can't you appreciate that it's still a good bit, even though you hate it? Even though it's just because you've said it so many times? Yeah.
But there's some bits that are like, you go, that's cheap. You know what I mean? It gets a laugh, and you go,
you know it's coming from the wrong place.
You're better than this. But they'll laugh at that. I don't care. I'd rather you have your bloody principles and get no laughs. Really? Because that seems awful for both. Okay. No, just little things like that, or bits that just sort of drag, or the ones that kill me are the ones that don't go particularly well, or don't get the response you want for a while, and you go, it's going to go. I'm going to have to let it go.
Yeah. I
liked it. I thought it fit in, but I'm going to have to let it. And you go, I'll give it one more shot. I'll just do it one more time. And then that time, it is the highlight of the whole show. And you go, are you really? Really? And then you leave it in, and then again, it just starts going. So I find that really frustrating, particularly because this show is the first straight sort of stand-up show that I've done. So in Melbourne, I was changing it every night. Like, you can cut things out and drop stuff in. You do it. I'm probably doing it a bit too much, so I prefer to just lock it down and go, right, this is
what
show.
It is. Yeah. Take it or leave it.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you
so
very
much.
much.
Thanks for having
Cheers,
me.
and good luck tonight.
Oh, God, thanks.
It'll be fine.